and welcome to Section 1.7 of the Attacks course, Tailgating. I'm Lisa Gilbert, and I'll be sharing lots of helpful information so you can understand this type of attack and defend against it. In our discussion of tailgating, I'll first define tailgating and why it is important to understand and prevent. Next, I'll discuss what attackers are trying to accomplish. Then I will explain exactly who is at risk, and explore the red flags and warning signs that an attack is taking place. We'll also explore some of the tactics used by attackers, and lastly, I'll describe how you can protect yourself and your organization from tailgating attacks. Tailgating is also known as piggybacking, and this is a type of social engineering attack that takes place when someone without proper authentication follows an authenticated employee into a restricted area. It may be into a facility itself or into a secure area within the facility, such as a server room. There's a corresponding electronic version of tailgating attack, which is requesting the use of a digital resource without being properly authenticated to access that resource. There's really only one objective of tailgating, and that's to obtain physical access to an area the attacker is not allowed to be in, or to obtain electronic access to a digital resource they're not authorized to use. So who's at risk for tailgating attack? Anyone who has authorized access to a restricted area could be at risk for someone attempting a tailgating social engineering attack. The more valuable the information in the restricted area, whether physical or electronic, the higher the risk. How do you recognize a tailgating attack? Perhaps someone attempts to convince you to give them access, whether physical or electronic, to a resource that you are authenticated to access, but they may not be. If an employee that you don't recognize claims to have forgotten their badge to access the facility or the restricted area, be suspicious of a tailgating attack. There's several tailgating tactics an attacker may use. Perhaps their hands are full and they need you to hold the door for them. A polite person normally complies with this request. Most social engineering techniques appeal to your sense of social etiquette. We're trained to hold the door for others as a common courtesy. Another common tactic is for the attacker to claim they forgot their badge, or whatever token is required to access a restricted area. This tactic is effective in a larger organization where the employees don't all know each other. In my last company, this technique would not have worked because there were only 10 people who worked in my suite, so obviously we knew who belonged there and who didn't. My new employer has thousands of employees, so this would be an attack that they would need to be alert to. Another tailgating attack involves asking for electronic access to a restricted resource. Can I use your machine for just a minute? It's such a pain to log into my account to check this little thing. So what should you do? To prevent tailgating social engineering attacks, never underestimate the importance of the physical security of your facility. Never allow someone without proper authentication into a restricted area, whether the facility as a whole or a secure area such as a data center within the facility. Never allow someone without proper authentication to use your electronic resource, even for just a minute. If you suspect a tailgating attack, contact your facility's security team. If the person is a legitimate user, security will be able to assist them. And if they're not, they can take appropriate action. Depending on the criticality of your physical resource, consider implementing the use of man-trap doors as shown in the image on this slide. Man-trap doors only allow one person inside a facility at a time, and authentication takes place when the person is between the two sets of doors. In conclusion, you've learned what tailgating is, what objectives attackers are aiming for in tailgating, and who is at risk for tailgating attacks. We discussed some red flags and warning signs of a tailgating attack, and went over some examples as well as what you can do to protect yourself and your organization from a tailgating attack. In the next video, we will discuss baiting, another type of social engineering attack that typically takes advantage of greed. I look forward to seeing you there.